Hello everyone, this time grandfather will tell a fairy tale or story about a girl named Timun who comes from Java. In short, this story tells about a girl who has a very kind heart, beautiful face, and is brave. Timun and her mother together fought the evil giant who wanted to eat Timun. This story has been told many times and is one of the most popular Indonesian legends. Come on, tell this story again to your little ones so they know how unique fairy tales from Indonesia are. Once upon a time, in a village in central Java, there was a middle-aged widow who lived alone. This old woman's name is Srini. Her husband died a long time ago, and she has no children. Srini spends her days alone, and every day she feels bored and fed up because she doesn't have anyone to accompany her. Srini has always wanted to have children. However, this dream of his could never come true. Plus, now that she doesn't have a husband, the possibility of her having children is of course gone. Srini can only wait for a miracle to come to her so she can have children. Srini always prays to God every morning, afternoon, and evening so that God can see her and give Srini a child. Then, one night, Srini dreamed of a giant who told him to go get a package under a big tree in the forest where he usually looked for firewood. When she woke up in the morning, of course, Srini felt confused about the meaning of the dream. With various doubts and curiosity in her mind, Srini continued to walk into the forest and follow her feelings. When he arrived in the forest, he looked for the package under a big tree, just like the one in his dream last night. Actually, Srini hoped that the package she was about to find contained a baby, but what she found was only a cucumber seed. His heart was disappointed and felt sad. Suddenly, a giant approached him, laughing loudly. "What do you mean by giving me a cucumber seed?" Srini asked while screaming but still holding back her emotions. When Srini looked at the giant, it turned out that it was the giant who approached her last night. Srini felt scared. She felt that the giant was going to eat her. Srini also begged the giant to feel pity and let him live. "Calm down, don't be afraid. I won't eat you, old woman," said the giant. Apparently, this giant asked Srini to plant the cucumber seeds he gave him. He said he would be rewarded with a daughter if he planted it. However, when the child was an adult, Srini had to give the child back to the giant because he would eat him. Because Srini really wanted a child, she agreed to the agreement. When he returned home, Srini planted the cucumber seeds in his field. Srini takes good care of the cucumber seeds every day. 2 months later, the plant began to change, and the cucumber plant only bore one fruit. As the days go by, this special cucumber becomes bigger than cucumbers in general. The color also shows a golden yellow color, looking beautiful. When the cucumber was very big, Srini picked it, and when it split, there was a very beautiful baby girl. Srini was very happy to hear the sound of the baby crying. He also gave the name Timun. Srini felt so happy that she forgot that she had made a promise to the giant that she would give this baby to him one day. Srini raised Timun with love and patience. Timun grew up to be a beautiful, kind, and very intelligent woman. One night, Srini dreamed again that she was visited by a giant who gave a message that within a week, he would pick up Timun. Since then, Srini has often thought sadly alone. He kept thinking that he would be separated from the child he loved so much. Sometimes tears fell down his cheeks without him realizing it. It turned out that Timun often watched her sad mother, so she asked Srini, "Mother, why have you been crying so often lately?" Initially, Srini didn't want to tell her child, but because Timun pressed her and kept asking, Srini told the true story of Timun birth. Srini also told the part that he had to return Timun to a giant, and a few nights before, the giant came back to him in a dream. Timun Mas felt sad and he didn't want Mbok Srini to return him to the giant. Finally, they both thought and looked for a way to free Timun Mas from the giant. On the day Timun Mas had to be returned, Mbok Srini suddenly thought of a way. Mbok Srini asked Timun Mas to pretend to be sick so that the giant wouldn't eat her. Luckily, this method was quite successful in buying time. The giant would come back when Timun Mas had recovered. Before the monster came back, Mbok Srini thought about how to free her child. In the morning, Mbok Srini met the first person on the mountain. He was a friend of her deceased husband. When he got there, Mbok Srini immediately told him about his condition and that he wanted to chase the giant away. The hermit gave Mbok Srini 4 small packages. He said these packages contained cucumber seeds, needles, salt, and shrimp paste. The hermit told him to give these 4 bundles to his son, and if the giant chased him, scatter the contents of these bundles. After that, Mbok Srini went home, feeling a little relieved. At least she now had a plan. A few days later, this giant came back to pick up Timun Mas. Mbok Srini and Timun Mas stood side by side without fear. Timun Mas suddenly ran as fast as he could, and the giant chased him. After running quite far, Timun Mas sprinkled the seeds her mother had given her. It was magical. The surrounding forest suddenly turned into a cucumber field. In an instant, the cucumber stalks spread and wrapped around the giant's entire body. However, the giant was able to break free and chase Timun Mas again. Timun Mas immediately threw the package containing the needles. In an instant, the needles turned into many tall and spiky bamboo trees. However, the giant was able to pass through and continued to chase Timun Mas, even though he was bleeding because he was stabbed by the bamboo. Seeing that his efforts were not successful, Timun Mas opened the 3rd packet containing salt and spread it out. Instantly, the forest he had passed through suddenly turned into a wide and deep ocean, but the giant still managed to pass through it easily. Timun Mas was worried because she only had 1 weapon left. If the weapon does not succeed in paralyzing the giant will succeed in catching and eating him. With great hope for safety, Timun Mas threw the last package containing shrimp paste. Instantly, the place where the shrimp paste fell suddenly turned into a sea of boiling mud. The giant was defeated because he fell into a sea of mud, and he died very quickly. Seeing that, Timun Mas immediately ran to his house to meet his mother. Seeing that her child was safe, Mbok Srini immediately thanked God, and since then, Mbok Srini and Timun Mas have lived happily. This story from Central Java is really exciting and touching, isn't it? The lesson that can be taken from this story is that people who have evil initial intentions will of course end up in trouble, and it will not end well. By telling this story to your little one, parents can teach them to always act and think kindly to the people around them.